Welcome to the Mass Device Fast 5 MedTech News Podcast, the show that keeps you up to date on the latest breakthroughs in medical technology with the top 5 news stories to get your day started. Today is June 1st. I'm your host, Danielle Kirsh, and today I'm joined by our guest co-host for the week, Executive Editor Kirsh and Newmarker. Today we'll talk about iRhythm's announcement that it received an FDA warning letter over some of its quality systems, Masimo management's battle with an activist investor, and some breakthrough news from CardioRenal, Establishment Labs, and Exactech. First of all, how are you doing today, Chris? We have some interesting news on the docket today.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good news day. Well, I should actually say it isn't like a pretty good news day. I mean, like there's some tough news for some companies, but definitely a big news day.
Well, let's just jump right into it. What's the first thing that we should know to start our day today?
The first thing to report is that Exactech, announced the global release of their next generation Exactech GPS shoulder surgery navigation software. They're going to be releasing it at the annual Shoulders Masters course in Amsterdam later this week. And this follows their US launch of the V2.2 software.
Nice. And where is this launch taking place and kind of what does it follow as well?
I mean, it's really, taking place across the eastern hemisphere of the planet. I mean, they were talking about EMEA and APAC countries. They had their first surgery in the United Arab Emirates earlier this month, leveraging their active intelligence suite, which uses Exactech GPS and their Equinox planning app.
Interesting. And what is included in this release?
Well, when they did the U.S. release last week, included a new web upload feature that enables surgeons and hospital staff to upload shoulder CT scans for reconstruction through the web. And then, for this EMEA and APAC release, they've got upgrades to the user interface, visualization tools, additional views. They've got verification of final implant placement for reverse and anatomic shoulder procedures. They've got integration with Exactech's Ergo shoulder instrumentation, and then they got wireless transmissions of case reports, including screenshots of steps and final implant placements. So it looks like just a lot, like a kind of a whole host of improvements to the software for this next gen version.
Definitely. It sounds like it underscores Exactech's commitment to innovation and advancing orthopedic technologies. It sounds like this could generate significant interest among orthopedic surgeons worldwide. What do doctors think about this technology so far?
Yeah, I mean, they had a quote from the British surgeon based in the UAE who did the surgery, and Dr. Ved Goswami was saying that the human eye allows implant placement by experienced surgeons to be within 3 to 5 millimeters, but with this GPS technology, they can get within 1 to 2 millimeters, possibly. So just like really reducing, margin of error in these procedures.
Awesome. And optimizing patient care at the same time, it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what's the next thing we need to know to start our day?
Hey, well, the next thing is we've got Establishment Labs winning a CE mark for minimally invasive surgical tools. The CE mark approval is for its Motiva injector, Motiva inflatable balloon, and Motiva channel dissector.
So what are those tools designed for?
These are like next generation tools for minimally invasive aesthetic procedures.
All right. What does this CE mark mean for the company?
The company CEO said this was like an important step. They described it as an important step in the evolution of plastic surgery. And the quotation was that you had in this article was that innovations that improve both the experience and outcome of a medical procedure can expand markets. And they think that this new minimally invasive technology platform can help change perceptions and overcome reservations. Opening up these procedures to women who might not consider a traditional surgery.
And it sounds like it can also help introduce these innovative surgical tools to the European market and give even more surgeons the advanced options for these improved patient outcomes and faster recovery times. That being said, what do surgeons think of these tools?
Well, I mean, they had a quote from a plastic surgeon based in London who thought that these tools will provide new capabilities that allow procedures to be performed more safely and predictably, and that these could result in better outcomes for patients.
And I'm sure executives are excited about this milestone as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a big deal to get the CE mark. I mean, Europe is one of the largest markets for medical devices in the world. So, and it's interesting too, because it used to be that about 10 years ago, like you saw like companies getting into Europe first and then the United States. So that's actually like been the opposite in recent years, as Europe's kind of been tightening its regulations. Well, FDA's tried to find ways to work with the industry. So that's actually kind of interesting about this story that, they actually are doing this first in Europe. They have it undergoing a clinical investigation going on in the US.
Interesting and good point. On to some other news.
Yeah, we have CardioRenal receiving FDA breakthrough designation for its Tenor at-home blood potassium measuring device. So this, helps smooth the way for more trials with this device.
And what is Tenor?
It's a connected medical device that combines like all these different technologies to assist patients with chronic illnesses, including chronic kidney disease, to measure the blood potassium levels. They can do this from the comfort of their homes.
So obviously, breakthrough designations recognize the potential of devices to address an unmet medical need and improve patient outcomes overall. Why is this breakthrough designation important?
Yeah, I mean, it's FDA, kind of like signaling that this is trying to like, smooth the way, because this obviously could be a breakthrough technology, in treating, health conditions. And so this designation gives, CardioRenal priority review. They get more, interactive communication, with FDA's experts and senior managers, to help kind of smooth, assist, their path to commercialization in the United States.
And are executives at the company excited about this designation? I can totally imagine so.
Yeah, I mean the quote from their CEO in the article describes this as like an exciting opportunity to again demonstrate the benefits of this technology. I mean, this was another article that you had up on Mass Device. You noted here that there's like 843 million people living with chronic kidney disease, and CardioRenal was describing how they frequently have fluctuating blood potassium levels. And so being able to track these levels and better control their potassium levels from home, that could be a real benefit for people with those conditions.
Definitely convenience and being able to manage your healthcare from home is also, I talked about it before on the podcast, it's just part of this healthcare equity. It opens up avenues for people who live in rural areas and may not be able to easily access a hospital on a whim. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, we both live in cities, so if there's health conditions we need checked out, it's not that far of a drive to get to a clinic. But I know we also both have relatives who live in more rural areas, and yeah, you need, it's not nothing to have to go to a clinic, so being able to check more of the stuff at home it's a big deal.
Agreed. Now let's move on to some legal news and some of the more interesting news that we hinted on earlier.
Yeah, we got a proxy fight going on, at Masimo. Medical design outsourcing managing editor Jim Hammeran, pitched in here, and wrote an article about dueling news releases from Politan Capital Management and the management of Masimo over these two board seats that they're dueling over, and basically we had a managing partner, chief investment officer at Politan, calling for greater oversight in the boardroom to help Masimo realize its full potential. And then Masimo's management team, led by CEO Joe Chiani, they're defending their record, saying, "Hey, we delivered strong returns for investors through sustained, profitable, above market growth." So it'll just be interesting to see how this all shakes out. Like when the annual meeting, company's annual shareholders meeting comes up on June 26th.
So who is the activist investor supporting for the board director nominees instead of, Masimo's incumbents, Michael Cohen and Julie Schimmer?
We've got Politan's managing partner and chief investment officer, Quentin Coffey. And on top of that, they have Michelle Brennan, who's a 32-year Johnson & Johnson veteran. She retired as global value creation leader in 2020. So, that's a pretty impressive candidate to put up.
Yeah, it sounds like this engagement between the two kind of demonstrates the complexities involved in balancing shareholder interests and corporate strategies. And it also kind of underscores the importance of effective communication and transparency and maintaining those investor confidences and trust overall.
Exactly. It could be tricky. And, we have seen more shareholder activism, going on in recent years, especially, since the pandemic. There's definitely less of a willingness just to rubber stamp whatever a company's management is doing.
Definitely. And I'm sure Jim will be closely monitoring this, and we'll obviously keep all of our listeners updated as we hear more about it. So what's the last thing we need to know for the day?
Oh gosh, we have some tough news for iRhythm. They had a SEC filing where they said that they received a warning letter on May 25th. They said that this resulted from an FDA inspection at their Cypress, California facility that was near the end of last summer, and the warning letter is alleging that iRhythm wasn't conforming to medical device reporting requirements, related to their Zio AT wearable and medical device quality system requirements.
And what was iRhythm's response to that warning letter?
Well, they're saying they're taking it very seriously, that they intend to respond. And, they said that there already was a Form 4883 that they were working off of and, looking to address what the FDA was pointing out. And they're going to be doing even more now that, they've received a warning letter based off those 483 observations from the inspection.
Kind of sounds like this highlights the importance of robust quality control measures in the medical device industry and serves as a reminder for the regulatory requirements and responsibilities that companies must uphold to ensure patient safety and product efficacy. This comes a few weeks after its earnings report, right?
Yeah, exactly. They had their earnings report. The earnings report, they were disclosing at that time that they had their third subpoena in more than 2 years from federal investigators. And it's worth noting that there hasn't been any disclosure on the nature or the timing of the inquiry, what's going on with that. And, to be fair to them, companies get investigated all the time for different things and then nothing comes of it. But, it's definitely kind of like another, at the time of that earnings report, the analysts were raising some questions about that, even though they were saying otherwise, that they, thought that those quarterly results were, positive. And, I suspect that, this disclosure of a warning letter is, probably could cause even more questions to be raised.
Definitely. It emphasizes the ongoing vigilance required to ensure compliance with regulatory requirements as well. So
yeah, exactly. And we've both spoken with a lot of regulatory experts outside of companies over the years. These are a lot of requirements. It's not easy. It's a lot of work to follow these. So here's hoping that they can get this resolved soon.
Definitely. That's all we have for today. Thanks again for joining as my guest co-host for the week. Hope you're having fun and with everything.
Yeah, we'll keep on chugging through the news this week. And if you want to, find out more about, what's going on in the medtech industry, head over to massdevice.com and, check out more of our articles.
And you can check out the show notes at massdevice.com/podcast. And please connect with us online. I'm on Twitter at Danielle_Kirsh, Kirsh, and the same name on LinkedIn. Where can our listeners find you, Chris?
Hey, you can find me on LinkedIn, Kirsh Newmarker, just like a new marker.
Subscribe to the Mass Device Fast 5 wherever you listen to podcasts and share this episode. Join us Friday for your daily MedTech News Roundup. Thank you for listening.